You said that you worked in a small company that time, Tesla, and Tesla, of course, like everyone knows, Elon Musk is like the guy. So tell us more about your experience of working in Tesla, and did you get a chance to interact with Elon Musk? And if yes, how was that interaction? What did you learn from him?
So back then, since Tesla was relatively smaller, it was about 10,000 people. There was this phase, if you Google it, you'll see that it's called production hell. So around the time I was at Tesla, Tesla was going through a major push for the Model 3. Model 3 was their ambitious like mass market vehicle and stuff like that, right? So this was this rigorous push for the Model 3, and that's what officially they coined as production hell. So that was a very intense period. During that period, right, like anybody who did not perform like was cut. And at one point in time, Elon had fired 2 layers of management under him. So like VPs and all gone, and then like another like senior directors and all that gone. And I was reporting to my manager was reporting to his manager, and then she was reporting directly to Elon. So that existed for about 4 or 5 months.
And both your managers got fired?
No. This was after the fire.
Oh, it was after the fire.
This was after certain leadership, layer of the sandwich was gone. And that period of time was when I got to see the working style and what is it that really inspires people. And the good thing here is I got into Tesla at a relatively earlier phase of my career. So I would consider it as, a blessing, because that was a point when, I was telling people like, hey, push me. Like, I want to learn in 1 year what otherwise I would learn in 5 years. And those kinds of environments are great if you want to learn, if you want to accelerate your career, along with obviously all the perks that come with it.
So have you interacted with Elon Musk?
Briefly, a few times.
And how was your interaction? What did you learn from him?
So the general thumb rule at Tesla is if you don't need to talk to that person, don't talk to that person. But there were a couple of instances where, we were, I see a lot of people like trolling, that, hey, no, he didn't sleep in the factory, blah, 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 that kind of a thing. Him sleeping in the factory is pretty common or a pretty known fact, right? So one day I was working late. There was some other issue on the manufacturing line, and I had to get a certain thing resolved. So then there were a bunch of technicians that I had to put together. And this was probably at like 11 o'clock in the night, 11:30, 12, something like that. And, I was like, hey, like we got to fix this issue. Let's get into a conference room and figure out like what's going wrong. And then you have these conference rooms, right? You open the door and the automatic sensors turn the lights on. So the lights turned on, and then I suddenly hear a voice. It's like, who the fuck is that? And this is Elon. Like, he was sleeping in the conference room essentially at that point. And then I'm like, okay, let's get out of here. Like, this is not a good. So that was, he didn't even see me, but it's like, just why are you here, like disturbing me, right? So that was one general. But I did see him up close in a few meetings, like 1 or 2 meetings. He would just cut to the chase, right? Like, and generally there is this practice of painting even if some shit is breaking loose. You paint the good picture first, and then this is corporate etiquette essentially. And most people who came with this like traditional corporate etiquette would just get cut immediately, because it's like, okay, cut that crap, tell me what's wrong, because I'm here to solve the problem that you are not able to solve. So don't give me all the good stuff. And then when we get into that problems, it's like, hey, it's a very intense problem solving session, which is basically from first principles, right? Most people think that इसने इतने सारे महान चीजें किए हैं. People think that, oh, there's some great next level genius type of thing and on an everyday level that he's applying. It's not, surprisingly, it's not that. It is like the fundamental, like axiomatic baseline things that he questions, and somehow that is what's required today. The same happened with SpaceX, right? Like, you want to solve for the cost of travel, get that freaking rocket back. That's the baseline thing that you can do, and then you optimize from there. Now, yeah, that is a technological challenge, yes. But for you to like even realize that is a technological challenge and solve for that, that's why SpaceX is where it is right now. Same with Tesla, right? Like even the simplest of things, he would basically say, okay, let's say for example, there's some rattling sound in the car, and people know that this is from like some sort of like a motor or something. After a few days, if it doesn't get solved, he'll basically be like, bring a motor, cut it in half, and show me the parts. Like cut it in half, like literally you could see like motors cut in half, and then you would be like, okay, point at the exact part. I mean, these are all very logical things, but most of the time when you're working in a corporate environment, common sense stops becoming that common. And that's when, you have hierarchies and managers and this and that. There are a lot of like public emails that are public right now of what he has sent, right?
What are some of them?
Yeah, I mean, there's basically it's like managers who try to build silos and who create unnecessary spheres of importances in the company for no reason. If you don't let people go to whoever they need to go to in order to solve the problem, you'll soon find yourself working at another company. Like point blank.
God.
And I love that style. It's like I had the time of my life there.
But don't you feel scared sometimes if, let's say, you are on the receiving end and if you receive this kind of an email?
I mean, it's life on the edge. Dar ke aage jeet hai.
Yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. I read somewhere that Elon Musk is someone who knows almost every problem that is happening in all his companies, like be it Tesla, SpaceX, any of the companies, and he would go to the ground reality, whatever is the problem, like to the root cause, and try to just fix it. That is like the kind of detailing he does in all the ventures.
Yep. So Tesla has multiple factories, right? I worked in the Fremont factory. That's their flagship, like the first factory. It's kind of like, and this is also public information. He looks at of course the car is a product, but then he looks at the factory as a product as well. So he's like, the machine that makes the machine is also a product that we should be able to replicate. So as much as the car is in a constant state of evolution to become better and better, the factory itself is in that state that you can replicate it around the world. And that is the kind of spirit you need to have in order to, go super quick in the world. So another example is in the Fremont factory, obviously, see how would you measure real estate in a factory?
How do you measure real estate?
Yeah. What's your unit of measurement of real estate in a factory?
Unit of measurement as in like the carpet area.
Yeah.
Square feet.
Yeah, square feet, right? So yeah, in the Fremont factory, everything was spread across. It was square feet. How do we optimize for square feet? But then when the Fremont factory got so optimized, then the question arose, is like, no, I want to measure the next factories in cubic feet. So what about this space now? Now, I mean, it's a very simple concept to think about it, right? Like, us hawe ka kya kare? Right? Fill that up. Somehow. Engineers ke liye it's a big headache, because now if something breaks up there, what do you do, right? Like how do you but that is a space that is open opportunity which you are not using.
Wow.
I mean, if you think about it, it's very basic.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah.
No, but still, I mean, when you asked me, I couldn't think of cube feet. I was like square feet, like the real estate would be measured in the square feet only. Like, I didn't think that, okay, the space in the air, that is also something which can be utilized.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, by simply measuring a factory in cubic feet, you can kind of think about the entire flow in a different way.
Yeah.
There's also, so see, when a car is being assembled, there is this final leg of the assembly called general assembly. That's when the body comes, the battery gets attached, the doors get attached, the dashboard, everything, all that gets attached, the tire gets attached and stuff. At that point, you basically have a spot where you can see the car for the first time, right? And somehow, and this is kind of like a Steve Jobs level, addiction to perfection. Somewhere it was not fitting well, right? Then it's like, just change the floor into bamboo flooring of that spot. That's when the car began to look like, it's in the showroom, like all that shiny it's like, an amazing looking car, when it is getting ready at its final like if you want to evaluate it for your quality defects or whatever else, you need to be in that mode where even the background is so pristine that you are able to then see that defect if it is there. So this is also an example of like very fundamental thinking. But yeah,
if you learned something new from this video, do share it with your friends and subscribe to this channel so that we can bring you the best content possible. Also, if you want to watch this entire episode, click on the link in the description box and you can go to Kushal Lodha YouTube channel and watch the entire podcast episode. Thank you so much for watching this and have an amazing day.